Hello everyone, this is Cookies, and got another turn of skids. This is my second time trying to record this. My headphones died, so I'm trying to use a snowball mic, so the audio quality might be different. The first time the audio quality was horrible. It sounded like when I first made this channel, where it's got like a bunch of background noise. I think the volume might have been okay. But I'm hoping now I've got the filters in place to get rid of the background noise, and maybe we can actually see this. Or maybe it'll be decent. Um, there's only one big battle this turn. It's Kasevik Highlands. Let's go ahead and I'll just let you watch it first, and then we'll dive in, because I have thoughts on this one. Alright, so I have questions this turn. So Xibalba wins this battle, and let's go ahead and pull it up. Pretty well, actually. Kills two Fomorian kings, kills this sorceress, a few druids, bunch of sacreds. Doesn't lose much, just the one mage, six of the scorpions. However, there's no follow-up storm. And I forget... I don't think he had it cracked last turn, because I think this stuff didn't have leadership. So he couldn't storm it this turn, but his inability to storm it this turn has a number of implications, because Mekone is on one of his thrones, if you remember. Alright. Now, when it comes to this battle, and hopefully the players can explain, because I am very confused. I believe I looked at Fomoria's Death Gem income. I think it's 3. Dance of the Morgans, I believe, costs 4. And it's totally worth alchemizing for. But this guy's got no Death Gems on him. So, Dance of the Morgans not going up this turn. Then we've got this guy and this guy. Now, I think this is the Air 3. I think it should be doing Storm with 2 of the Air Gems. And then this guy should be doing Storm Power, and then maybe one other spell. I forget if the timing matters at all. And then should be doing Wrathful. And he's got the air gems to do Wrathful. And I forget if any of this stuff gets blessed. So we do see Storm go up. None of this stuff is blessed. I don't think there's any way to bless it. Oh, I mean, this guy could, Baylor. He's Holy 3. So yeah, he could definitely bless. And then over here on the other side, we've got Xibalba. So the golem's getting frozen out by this guy's cold aura. What does this guy do? A bunch of these mages don't seem to use... I mean, we definitely have gem usage, but they're not doing much with their gems. Maybe they're saving their gems. This guy's doing darkness. But neither of these big Oniki have wired themselves into the Sabbath to be able to do Divine Blessing. And so these guys are also not going to get blessed. So neither army is going to bless all their sacreds. As far as I can tell for the whole battle. Then, I think Xibalba might have just screwed up their script. I think they meant to bless. But we just have people manually blessing. And then we have a Sabbath slaves get declared. And I haven't really checked to see if they come in later as masters, like some of these ones that aren't doing Sabbath slave. But I don't actually see it like a Sabbath master signing up for duty. I see 2 communion masters. So these golems are going to operate off of these lizard shaman. This, and then are all of 3 of them slaves? No, this one's a master. He's doing Twist Fate. In my opinion, maybe this guy should be doing Enlarge and Regen, personal regen. But Twist Fate is good too, because I guess he's got some nature to spend. So far we have a Sabbath setup with no Sabbath Masters. We have Twilight from the Grey Enchantress, and Darkness from the Oniki, which I believe cancels out Twilight, I think. Yeah, so it has no effect. So because he threw up Darkness with this guy... Sorry, I had to cough. So because he threw up Darkness with the Oniki, his Grey Enchantress, who is right here, she no longer has the paths to do Wailing Winds. So he blocked his own Wailing Winds. And then this guy is still not in the Sabbath. And this guy is not in the Sabbath. So no one's bothering to bless anything. So this is pretty much just a Sacred Troop mosh pit, and all it means is Sacred Scorpions are better than Unmarked as just like a base chassis. And the Scorpions got hit with a bunch of Evos. They also have a lot of HP. So I'm not sure if any of them would have died if they'd been blessed. But I'm also not sure if Xibalba would have won if Dance of the Morgans had gone off. So, personally, it was a pretty fun battle to watch, but I was really confused about some of the stuff that happened in it. And then I don't think either of these golems got lucky and stole anything, or if it did, it just died immediately. So, but yeah. So that's Pacific Highlands. And then I think a lot of these are just killing PD. Salt Plains was interesting, if I remember right. Here we have an Elder Cyclops. The Rime Hammer, he's got 20% regen, because he's got the Bloodstone Armor and the Lycanthrope's Amulet on 79 hit points with 20 prot. He's run into a pretty killy army. Griffins have a lot of attacks. These Pegasus Riders have a short lance. These Long Dead Horsemen have a light lance. Now, fortunately, in some ways, this guy only has the Rime Hammer, and he's already berserked from the Lycanthrope's Amulet, so he can't do something like Fire Shield, where maybe he gets hit by a lot of lances very quickly because stuff is killing itself on the Fire Shield, which should help limit incoming damage. But Xibalba has set up a life for life little Sabbath here. And so he's actually, and you can see the line there. So 37. Because until they land, it targets their old square, I guess. And then as soon as he lands, he eats just a shit ton of lance charges. So he's at 15 HP. Has Battle Fright. Doesn't matter here because he's Berserk. And he starts trying to heal up, and he's still getting hit. Like, really hard hits. And his defense skill is 0, just from the sheer number of attacks. So yeah, this was a charge. Or a lance hit. This was a lance hit. And then if we come down here, we've got just a really hard-hitting Griffin. Just got high rolls. So, you can see here, I don't know what he would need to maybe try and survive this. But maybe like 25 or 30 protection could have gotten him close. I mean, he clearly wasn't meant for fighting an army, and the life for life hit did do a lot of damage. I mean, none of these sacreds are blessed again, I don't think. Now, this guy was doing Weapons of Sharpness. I checked all over the place for who got that buff, and I'll be honest, I couldn't find it. So maybe it was the dude that got yoinked right at the beginning of the Rime Hammer. But yeah, so it was a cool little thug, but unfortunately it just ran into too much stuff. And so if we go through here, we have a Horde from Hell, Ghost Riders. We have Berytos' first Melkart thug. We can look at him really quick. So there's the kit, 20 attack, 47 damage, raised sword for like Reinvig and whatnot. It's gonna Phoenix Fire as well. And then Xibalba's Wind of Death caster was also on this for it. And didn't get the check on this guy. Now, this guy is old. So if he had failed the MR check, I think there's a solid chance he could have died, maybe. But this is also an unequaled obesity tart. I'm not fully up on all the mechanics of decay and old age, but I think there's some chance he could have died there. Let's see, so that was Gilgad. Then we have, what's it? I think this is 2 thugs. No, it's just this thug. He's got a bodyguard. The bodyguard is going to die, but I think because the thug kills him, basically. Yeah. And then he ends up routing. Alright. And then another one, I think this one's kind of funny, because this guy does group Iron Skin. And, you know, these guys have had some protection issues. So it's like, alright, I'll put group Iron Skin on these two guys. Except the mage missed the guy. So he gave himself Iron Skin. He's a pretty capable thug, but this guy did not get Iron Skin. Fortunately for them, they're up against just a little bit of PD, so it was fine. Let's see. And then Marverni rallies out of his fort. The Marigna's got a gate cleaver, so that's pretty exciting, but is also in charge of his fort again. Fomoria raids around. We got a Berytos army. I suppose we can look at these two armies. We got the Toledo army, which has no gems, it's just rolling. And then we've got, what's it? So yeah, you can see the composition here. And then we've got, what was it? It was the Berytos army in Fomoria. Alright, I think this one's a little bit better put together army. You've got Storm Demons and Shed for kind of like a turn 1 evocation. They hit pretty darn hard. They're pretty dangerous. And you've got turn 1 Flyers and Draconians. You have some Fire Snakes to catch stuff in the back with magic attacks. 2 lines of Terracotta Soldiers to provide just sort of like a line holding effect. You have some bodyguards on the mages. This Melkart, who might be an army thug, but also has a few earth gems, might be doing something like, I don't know, Marble Army as part of a Sabbath. You've got this Melkart, who's got a Starshine Skullcap, probably because it eluded it and no one's taken his loot away. And then, yeah, the Ring of Regen here on this lady. This might be intentional. She could be like a Turbo Sabbath slave, but maybe not. They both got gems, actually, so probably not. And then, yeah, I'm assuming they'll do some buffs and spells, too. And they're just killing some barbarians. So the Shed and Storm Demons are going to light up the Draconians and kill 4 of them. And then we got another thug. Got the Camazots. I think these guys were doing that was like their luck spell, and then 3 hordes of skeletons, and then reinvigoration. So I like this scripting. Leaves them at 91 fatigue. They reset, and then they can make some more. Pretty good raid. And then, so that was here. A few Storm Demons out and about, a couple of those parties. We saw that battle. And this one's kind of funny. So this F4 is not thugged. No gear on him. But we've got another Life for a Life group. So this guy's just going to try and thug by buffing himself. Now, unfortunately, a Life for Life Sabbath has the distinct problem of it's generally better defensively or in the magic phase. So in the magic phase, you get to jump on something and kill it. Defensively, you get to sit behind some PD. when you use it just as 3 mages aggressively, and the enemy has some PD. So yes, they did eat the effer, but now they're trying to life for a life PD. And so those 3 mages go down. Let's see, that was here. We can check really quick to see if they were twice spawned. If I can click. Alright. Then in Spring Bay, we've got another milk cart. This one's going to be pretty fun. But he's just raiding PD, so maybe he thought there would be something there. It's going to be Sabbath Master, Phoenix Pyre, and he's going to do Hell Power. Which generates a fair number of horrors, but he's just fighting PD, so pretty much this means he's just going to have to kill these things himself. Incinerate cleaning up. Then in Avoca, just a small Sun Guide raid. Bunch of Aussies attacking. The Mercs is the connecting province to the Throne Rush province. And then we saw Salt Plains. The Enkidu Spear Guards make pretty good bodyguards. And then this guy gets killed by a ghost because he decides to do Blessing. Alright. So if we hop out here, we see here that Berytos has come alive a little bit. They've raided everything around Sitha, which is pretty well done. A little bit of raiding pressure around Hinnom, but Hinnom's still not put under siege, so we see a growing army of crap here in Hinnom. I call it crap, but it's all quality stuff. It's Mazics, Mechanical Men, Roughite Warriors, and Omnis, along with the Arena Champion Melkart. So this is a very dangerous little group. I imagine pretty soon he'll be trying to raid his cap circle again. And then Marverni freed his capital. We see that Aussie stack here in the Mercs. It wasn't quite able to reach Kasevik. The consequence of not being able to storm this turn is now this fort is cracked by Mekone. So Xibalba needs to either try and defend this or just acknowledge that he's losing this throne. And then maybe continue trying to take Kasevik. Another thing that might be happening is might be letting Mekone move more and more troops up to the Xibalba border, and then is going to still go through with his plan to attack Mekone. We'll see. Which I do think is a little bit dangerous if Kasevik falls, because then all he has to do is retake World's Teeth. But we'll see what happens. Maybe Berytos will be the one to continue fighting Xibalba. And then, yeah, I think that's most of it. Fairly quiet turn, aside from a little bit of raiding. It doesn't seem like anyone's doing any total war right now. Xibalba's exhausted from trying to do their throne rush. They'll see if they can finish this throne off. Berytos is trying to raid around here. He had a push that was moving up towards Hinnom to go take Hinnom. Maybe he'll try and send that back out, but he might not feel confident anymore. He's got another army on Barren Crags here. And then we'll have to wait and see what does, who is, I believe, position 1 right now in terms of raw power by a mile. Alright, so with the graphs, we've got Xibalba, Mekone, Berytos. Xibalba being way ahead on provinces, although down a bit this turn. Forts, Xibalba and Income is all Gem income is and Xibalba. Blood income is mostly Xibalba right now. Research is Berytos. Although and Mekone are probably at a stage where they've got the research they need. And then Dominion is Xibalba and up here. Army size is all Everyone else is more or less the same size now. Did lose a lot, stopping the throne rush. They recovered a lot this turn. Maybe they're taking a few turns to recover. That could also be true. But they've definitely, I think they've got enough strength to fight a 2v1. I don't think they should be afraid to grow, but they might not know it. Alright. And I think that's it for this turn. So I will go ahead and call it there. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.